Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rise of the Storm, Behind the Scenes. Last time we were here, we got to learn a little bit about the origins of WRED-TV and spoke to some of the club's earliest members. It's so nice to know that after all this time, they still keep in contact and continue to help out future generations of students like us. Let's continue our trip down memory lane. I'm David Williams, and today we have some more TV Club alumni joining us here in the studio and calling in on Zoom to talk about their time here and how it led them to where they are today. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So we'll start with you, Steve, first. How did you get involved in TV Club, and what year did you graduate?
I am a proud member of St. Vincent's College, class of 1994. And my avenue into TV Club actually came through the TV Center. So I had been working at the TV Center as an assistant for some of the classes, and TV Club was just a natural extension of what I was learning there. And I didn't really stick around every show day for that first fall semester, but by the time I hit the spring semester, I was here constantly.
And how about you?
I'm Pete Shields, and I am part of the class of 1995. I got involved, really took a tour of the facility in one of my earliest days here. I was standing next to a guy that I knew very little, but he looked excited about the thing. He's actually on our Zoom call, Joe Malerba, today. And we kind of looked at each other, and I said, "Are you going to be involved here?" And we just both gave each other the nod. We were involved all the years we were here, so very rewarding experience.
So now we can start with the Zoom.
Well, I was taking speech class, and on the bulletin board, it said TV Club every Friday from 12 to 4. I saw it for about 3 months, and I said, you know what? I'm going to join it. And I finally went up and just hung out there for a while and started, learning the new things. And then the TV studio was brand new in '85, and it was my treasure island. And I'm glad I saw that little posting there on the chalkboard. And that's how I started. Never knew it existed.
I came to open house, and they took us into the TV studio, the TV Center studio, and I was just impressed by everything I saw. I was a little intimidated too by all the equipment, but when I came to St. John's, it's the reason I came to St. John's, and I took a TV course with Professor Tarbox at the time, and that kind of got me into the studio, and I saw the invitations to come to TV Club, and I showed up that Friday, and everybody was welcoming and friendly, and I stuck around.
I got scared off the first time that I went up there. Won't say how, but then the next time I tried, the president and vice president were creating an office, because there was no TV Club office back then. They were creating an office in the middle of the hallway out of duct tape, and I thought, these are my kind of people, so I stayed.
Oh, it's Mark Bernardin. Hey, Jan. Sorry. I'm scrolling through the screens here. How are you? Sorry. Go ahead.
I think I was recommended by a professor. I think it was either Professor Sherman, Professor Finnemore. It was like, hey, you should join. You like making stuff. They're making stuff. And I went up there, and yeah, they were very much my people. I was not a fraternity person. I never joined a single other club when I was at St. John's except for the TV Club, and have not regretted it for a minute.
Same with me. I purposely went to St. John's for the television club. Very intimidating, but exciting at the same time. Everybody was very friendly, very welcoming. And it was just a great experience. I didn't find myself there as much as I regret now. I wish I went more. I wish I was part of things more. But maybe it was the intimidation factor. Maybe it was the fact that I was young and wanted to go out with my friends. But everybody was very, very welcoming, and it was very interesting to me. I had these aspirations of what it was going to do for my future, and the next TV reporter I was going to be. But I dove in, and people held my hand, and it was a great experience.
I actually have no recollection of why I got there and how I got there, but I was there and having a great time. I always wanted to be a New York City firefighter, and was going to St. John's, and TV Club looked like fun stuff to do, play with cameras, and it turned into a career. It was great.
You sound so boring.
Can I add something? I just wanted to add something. When you leave school, when you leave college, people do not know what they're going to be or what they want to do. But I always knew I wanted to be in communications. I think somebody made a comment in my high school yearbook that I was going to be on the news. And when I left St. John's, my goal was to be in broadcasting. And I went on to working behind the scenes at CNBC, MSNBC. I was at CNN for 7 or 8 years. So my college experience and TV club did take me on to that next level. I am in real estate now, and I apply all of my communications background to my career now, which is social media and videos. And I've taken everything I've learned from college and my work experiences, and I've applied it now to my second career, which is real estate. So it followed me through.
Very cool. The thing that's great about it is that it gave you more creativity and what's the term I'm looking? Oh, confidence. Definitely gave us a confidence to be able to try and do our own things, and that just the learning tools and the learning and the camaraderie between us all really spurred us to get really nice jobs out there in the industry.
I'm not sure there's any other job or where you can actually do pretty much every job in the studio as you can at St. John's. I don't think it exists in the real world. So just that opportunity for everybody who's a part of TV Club, just to try everything and, see what you like and see what you don't is important.
But I'll tell you this, Tony, though, because I knew camera and I knew editing, by doing camera, I was able to explore the world. I mean, I went all over the place because of those teachings and using the camera. That knowing the camera and just the simple tripod on remote got me to places you couldn't believe. So knowing more things, helps, especially in the freelance world. There's a lot of opportunities you can do at different things.
What better place was there than TV Club to get your hands on the equipment, to be able to find people that were passionate as you about what you were doing, and kind of put into practice the stuff that you were learning in the classes. Kind of gave you, like Mike said, it gave you the confidence when you left the school environment to go out there into the job market and know exactly what you were going to do.
Right. And it was more of a safe harbor because we weren't being graded, so we could just make mistakes and, okay, so you made a mistake, try it again. And this is really where I think a lot of people honed their skills, and not just operating equipment. I mean, just, working in collaborative settings and, dealing with adversity and dealing with pressure, to be able to do that in a safe harbor environment is so key to the experience, at least from my perspective.
Okay, so Pete, can you tell me what the club was like when you first joined?
It was nice that I came into something that was full swing, okay? And it was also a welcoming environment. So you could come in and kind of get the basics, sign up for things, at least start following along on remotes or even in the studio. And you had people that you could work together with to learn something about. And then the next time you were able to learn from somebody else. So it was kind of nice that you came into something that was kind of in full swing, but also a welcoming environment, right?
Yeah. I also think it was paramount that the upperclassmen really, embraced the incoming freshmen or sophomores or just a new participant in the club, because, everybody keeps using that word welcoming. They made it very easy for you to kind of slide in and, get your hands dirty and just feel very, accepted by the group.
Right. I feel like when all of you guys talk about the TV club, you make it sound so special. So what to you guys made it sound or feel so special and so comfortable?
Well, I'll toss it. You know what? We haven't heard from Joe Malerba yet. Joe, I'm very interested to hear, what was your favorite Pete Shields moment in TV Club? I mean, what was your favorite thing about being with me in TV Club that made it special for you? He's talking about special people, so I know I was that for you.
you are and continue to be a very special person in my life. But in all seriousness, I am immediately drawn back to our long evening of taping a Christmas special, where I just could not get the words out, and I had very few, and you played Santa, and I just broke up every time we would do the lines, just because you're just such a funny guy. You're funny even when you don't want to be funny. So, and all of you. I mean, it's funny for me. I started out in radio, so my passion was the radio side, and then I was drawn into the television side, which really what it did was, for lack of sounding cliche, but it was true. It just took everything I knew about radio and loved about radio and made it more three-dimensional, right? Because it was television and it was the visual, and we were all learning as we go. I did not really touch a lot of equipment when I was there. I was doing more of the on air in front of the camera. And that's what I thought I was going to do, as someone had mentioned earlier about, being on air. Ironically, now I spent the better part of 25 years on the sales and marketing side, and that has evolved into so many different things. We wear so many hats, but one of the things I get to do is I now get to travel around the country to meet with our affiliate stations and help them find ways to make their local news unique and stand out in a market that might have 5 or 6 different news channels. And when I'm in the studio, I'm taken back to my TV club days, and there's some terminology that stuck with me. So guys like Mike Sheehan and Tony and Steve Laux, you'd be very proud of me, because I do remember some of the technical side, and I could navigate through a good conversation with people in the studio. But the friendships and the camaraderie, and that has lasted my whole life. I'm pretty much in contact with most of you, if not directly, indirectly. But we stay close. And if it weren't for those clubs, I probably would have gone home right after class. So
you mentioned what made it special too, Joe. There were like 4 or 5 of us that had like every single class together that freshman year, right? It was like me, you, Anthony Rodriguez, Stephanie Simon, Lisa Spadaro. There were a whole bunch of us that were all in classes together. And I remember coming, and you said you were on camera. And I remember one of the first things you did was you got interviews with like every news anchor in the New York City market. So here we are, freshmen in college, and he's sitting down with like every player in the biggest market in the country, doing interviews for our little show. And it just showed me how small this business was and how close we were to being able to like achieve our dreams. So that was definitely special. I had all these guys, Steve and Tony and Mike, that were mentors for us in the group. And Mark, you were like the first celebrity that I knew. I think you wrote a script for Star Trek, and it was like, he's going to California to do this internship with Star Trek: The Next Generation, because he's like a celebrity. I think I saw your credits somewhere in Star Trek, didn't I?
Yeah, no, right now I'm a supervising producer on Star Trek Picard. But all of that, and I was a journalist for 20 years. When I left St. John's, I ended up in magazines. And then getting over to scripted television, the thing that I've carried with me the entire time is one of the things that I learned at St. John's, which is how to talk to people and how to collaborate and how to communicate and how to find a way to get people on the same page for what seems to be a ridiculous idea. And I think that the fact that the TV club specifically, when working on other people's projects and working on your own, is being able to talk to folks and being able to get them to see the thing that you see in your own head. And it began for me here. It began for me with this crop of people.
So since Mark and Nando just joined as well, can you guys talk about one of your favorite moments of being in Television Club? And we can start with Nando first. Nando.
Uh-oh, he's muted.
And
You'd think I work in TV. Unmuted, yeah. I was listening earlier when I first jumped on. I heard Mark talking about not joining any fraternity or any other clubs. I actually was the opposite. I joined other organizations. Before I think I was really wrapped up in the TV club, I was in a fraternity. I was at WSJU as well, and I did a lot. But one thing I noticed and what I loved about TV Club was a lot, again, camaraderie. It was very, very different. And I would say out of every other organization I was a part of, a lot of the organizations in St. John's, I would always recommend, take advantage of college, take advantage of the environment, take advantage of the people, get to meet people. But the work ethic, I think, at the TV Club was phenomenal. I mean, I could think of all the late nights that I could see Mike Sheenan and other people like putting in just to get shows off, the weekly, shows off and everything else. It was really phenomenal. So when I joined, it was a great atmosphere. We had a lot of fun. I basically was loved to get in front of the camera and make jokes. We tried to make up some stuff. It was really, really fun. I can't really single out anything in particular. I love my shows with T. Clemens. I wish he was here because we always had a blast. But I think that would be it. I mean, that's what I take with me from everybody that I see here was, I think this is where the work ethic really comes to view, and it prepares you for when you decide to intern. It prepares you when you get your first job. It's a smaller scale, but that's really what I got out of the TV Club.
And the same goes for Mark. What's your favorite moment of being a part of Television Club?
Toulon, that's you.
Darren, you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just unmuted. So, so my favorite part of Television Club, I think, just like everybody else, we talked about the relationships that we built together, working side by side with people, for a common goal. And, I'm not in the industry. I'm one of the few people who is not in the industry. I also have another degree from St. John's, but the skills, the camaraderie, the ability to build relationships, nurture them, sustain them, working towards a common goal. I apply that now in the business world. I'm currently an IT project manager for a large national insurance company, and I've had the opportunity to lead national and local marketing campaigns. The other gentleman, Mark, was talking about how you get a bunch of people in the room and, they were surprised at this guy, me. I started up and we started doing a storyboard, and they were like, well, how does this guy know how to do that? And it's like, well, these are the things that St. John's taught me. So, I would say those are, these are intangible assets, I carry forward. And I graduated in 1990, and I have another degree from 1989. And here I am 30 plus years later, still using the same skills and honing them and refining them because the marketplace is continuing to change. So I'd have to say that's it for me.
And Kim, you haven't seen Mark. You guys haven't seen each other in so long. So talk about that. Like, how do you guys feel about seeing each other today?
Oh, I'm thrilled to see Mark, and because he, I see him on social media all the time, and he is the same sweet, nice guy he always was back in college. And I'm like, a lot of time in Florida now, and I'm always wishing I was back in New York and New Jersey. But Mark is even far more far-flung. But it's good to see him here. Yeah.
When Brenda sends up the TV Club signal, you have to show up.
Absolutely. And it's funny too, because Brenda and I actually went to the same high school in Queens, New York, and Fresh Meadows. So, and I didn't find that out until probably it was actually at one of the banquet dinners. I think when we were honoring, I want to say it was Lou Deli Paoli, and we had the great reel that Anthony Rodriguez put together for him, and I just thought that was hilarious. And then just got to talking. It's like it's that community. It's a family is what it is. So, yeah.
And how do you feel about the TV Club becoming such an integral part of the television center here? We'll start with Steve first.
Well, again, like I said before, for me it was an extension, but there was a lot of overlap, back and forth. Again, there were things that we did, and I'm only speaking from my own administration, if you will, we were committed to expansion, right? So when I was a freshman, the show that we produced was seen on Queens Public Access. And shortly thereafter, the executive board decided, you know, we're a New York City show, we want to be on all 5 boroughs. So we all committed to delivering those tapes to each of the public access stations in each of the 5 boroughs every single week, because we wanted people to see the work that we were doing. And, you know, it was mentioned before about the dedication. You know, people put a lot of time and effort in, and, you know, we loved it. We loved doing it. It was like, you know, learning while you're doing and having fun along the way. It was fantastic.
We had to physically run those tapes over to,
over
to the buildings and all that stuff.
By the time I graduated, we were FedExing. I think we had enough of a budget to FedEx. Yeah, but before then, we were literally driving to each of the 5 boroughs public access station.
Right.
And then the same question for Michael. Why do you think the TV club became such an integral part of today's of St. John's?
Because of the fact that we're still all friends. There's 50 of us or even more that bond has stayed with us throughout all these years. So it's an incredible little 4th floor up there. What you're going to see is you graduate, everybody there you're going to be friends with for the rest of your life. And the cool thing is that if anybody's ever without a job, we all try to help out the best we can, and if we can. But TV Club is very, very important for people and for all of us. It's, again, as Mark Tulin said, that it is family.
So it seems like a lot of you are still in touch from your TV Club days. So can you discuss how your relationship stood the test of times? And we can start with Peter.
Well, it's kind of interesting. So we were talking off camera here about how many of you guys nowadays live on campus versus how many of us lived on campus when we came here, which was zero. Right? So it was completely a commuter school. You know, we kind of had to make time to see each other. It is amazing over time, especially Facebook has been a huge thing for being able to like keep a reunion going for a long time for a lot of us. But I would say it's not only the college experience, it's, you know, keeping in touch on there. And, you know, Steve and I, again, off camera, we're talking about things we have in common outside of this place, like Steve, me, Joe Malerba, we've all been involved with our kids in scouting. So we all kind of have these other little connections. Kim lives down in Florida, real close to where I have some family, so I've gotten to go and visit her and her husband down there. So it just becomes a very small world that you find, and we've just found reasons to keep connecting. And you know, with Mike, I try to do a little Irish dancing every now and then and think of him.
All of you guys pretty much showed up that was in the Northeast. Even Kim showed up to the dance. God, I look old, man.
There are a lot of ways we're trying to find to stay together, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Kim.
I was just going to say, Mike, you know, that last time that I happened to be up and I got to go to another Mike Sheehan, Kaylee dance was just like, oh, you know, it's like, I feel like I'm me again. Do you know what I mean? It's just, so many of you, including you, Mike, the type of people that you could sit down in a cafe with and just pick up where you left off. Like,
that's exactly true, yeah.
And we can't talk about relationships without asking you, Steve. So how did your relationships with Hold and TV Club?
Well, in addition to my friends, my very good friends in the extended network, St. John's is where I met my wife, specifically in TV Club. Professor Laux, as she's known now. She was Brenda Barry back in the day. And, you know, here we are 22 years later with 3 kids, and, you know, we're still going.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And Lisa, you also talked about how you weren't really involved in TV Club, but is there anybody you still talk to, hang out with from TV Club today?
Yeah, I mean, because of Facebook, it was so nice to reconnect with Lisa, Anthony Rodriguez. I remember Mike Raguso, and was that his last name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Raguso.
Yeah. And oh my God, look at those pictures. And oh, there he is. I remember Mike, obviously Brenda. Actually, Lou, I worked at CNN with. So I wasn't involved as much as everyone else. And again, it's a regret I really do have. But I was there and I was a part of whatever I could be a part of. I remember interviewing Danielle Monero, who's now on Z100. And I was interviewing her for her role in Dracula, if you guys remember that. And like I said, it's just a connection that I have with everybody on Facebook, which has been really nice. So for the few times that I was up at TV Club and for the things that I did participate in, I still came out of it with a great experience, a fun experience, and connecting with people after college. So.
And since you guys are in person, what do you notice about the students of today? Like a part of the TV Club, part of the television network and stuff like that?
Well, I gotta say it was interesting speaking to you guys off camera and learning that Adam West was a fictional character on Family Guy, apparently. So I would say that was interesting. You guys probably dress better than us.
Probably. I see a lot of similarities to the way that we were. You know, it takes a lot to get everybody on the same page with this many moving parts. So right out of the gate, I picked up on that when I walked into the control room. So you definitely can tell. Like, we can tell the essence of what's going on here in the TV center with the club.
Well, there are a lot of things that stayed the same, right? If you
Yeah.
go into that control room, everything is laid out exactly where it was. Maybe you have a newer switcher. I remember the old Grass
Yeah, the
Valley
switcher and the
in there,
director position have swapped.
Oh, have they? Okay.
But the
Yeah,
audio
it
board
just-
is in the
it
same
threw me
spot.
'cause
It's
everything
just
else
a new
looked
board.
alike.
Yeah.
I even poked back to see where the prompter was, same place.
So
But the 1-inch machines are gone.
The 1-inch machines are gone, Tony, and I don't know what you're going to do.
I got a reel behind me.
I came in before and I
One-inch
asked where the
reel
bulk
behind me,
tape
just for
eraser
old time's
was.
sake.
I was heartbroken to discover that you no longer need a key to use the elevator.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What is
And
with
I found my key like not long ago, and I was like, I can go back to St. John's now. I have my key. And Brenda was like, no, you don't need that anymore.
No.
That was the golden ticket. That was the golden ticket.
That's
I
true.
had
Who's
that
made it?
It was
years.
coveted.
Oh my
Who's
goodness.
made it if you had that key?
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's clear that the club has had a lasting impact on their lives. Even to this day, they are still loved, getting to know the club's alumni, and getting a look into some fond memories and valuable lessons learned. Join us next time where we get to know the next generation a little better. Once again, I'm David Williams, and thank you for watching.